I would rather die among yonder gallows than live in slavery. These are the words by Samuel Sharpe, a slave born in 1801, and he is known to be the leader of the Baptist War that occurred in Jamaica in the year 1831 to 1832. Now, continue to be with me if you want to hear the story about how Samuel Sharpe led the Baptist War Rebellion / the Christmas Rebellion. To those who know the story of Samuel Sharpe, did you know that his original name was Archer? Well, Sam Sharpe was born into slavery in the parish of St. James, Jamaica, on a plantation owned by Samuel and Jane Sharpe. The slave rebellion of 1832, announcing his death, gave his name as Archer, aka Samuel Sharpe, the son of Eve, and he was only 31 years old when he died. That's young. The slave return of Samuel and Jane Sharpe, 1817, showed a young 12-year-old boy on the plantation with his mother and siblings, Joe and Eliza. He was allowed to become educated, for which he was well respected by his enslaved peers. Sam Sharpe became a well-known preacher, and leaders in the Baptist Church, which had long welcomed the enslaved as members and recognized them as preachers. He was a deacon at the Burchell Baptist Church in Montego Bay. Montego Bay is in St. James. The pastor of this church was called Reverend Thomas Burchell, a missionary from England. Sharpe spent most of his time traveling to different parishes in Jamaica, educating the enslaved about Christianity, which he believed at the time promised them freedom, or promised him freedom. So what caused the Christmas Rebellion? Basically, during this time, Christmas, it was the harvest time of sugar. This was the time where plantation owners made money. They couldn't allow the crops to spoil, and so they held back slaves in the plantation to work during the holidays. The slaves who followed up on British discussions of the abolition of slavery mistakenly thought that they were free and they had a right to leave on holidays, to go visit families or go and shop and have fun. It was Christmas. Samuel Sharpe, who also thought the same, led a general strike. He led a general strike to protest against the working conditions of the enslaved. So basically, the Christmas Rebellion / the Baptist War started because of the unfair treatments of the plantation owners upon the slaves, and because the slaves thought they were emancipated already. Sam Sharpe's original peaceful protest became one of Jamaica's largest slave rebellion. It spread across the island and it mobilized 60,000 Jamaican people. The uprising lasted for 10 days. The colonial government of Jamaica had to get some Jamaican military forces and warriors from the town of these military forces and warriors from the Maroon town to come and put down the rebellion. They managed to suppress it in 2 weeks. 14 whites were killed by armed slaves, but more than 200 slaves were killed by troops. You know why? Guns. The slaves had a disadvantage. Guns. Afterwards, the government tried, convicted, and hanged many ringleaders, and Sam Sharpe was a part of it. A total of 310 to 340 slaves were hanged through the judicial system. Sad. So, in months leading up to his execution, while still in prison, Sharpe was having several meetings with Reverend Henry, a British missionary, that reported that Sharpe told him, "I'd rather die under yonder gallows than live a life in slavery." That's epic. Revolutionary speech. Yeah, I like that one. So what happened to Jamaica after the Christmas Rebellion of 1832 / the Baptist War? The Jamaican government's severe reprisals in the aftermath of the rebellion are believed to have contributed to passage by Parliament of the 1833 Slavery Abolition Act and final abolition of slavery across the British Empire in 1838. 1838 is the year of emancipation for all slaves in the British colonies. Yeah. So, after so much bloodshed, freedom did finally come. In 1975, the government of a now independent Jamaica proclaimed Sam Sharpe as a national hero. So let us raise our glasses or our cups. My favorite cup. Let us raise it up and let us honor the name Reverend Samuel Sharpe. I'm thirsty. It was quite a long story. It was worth it. So, I have an important question for you. Do you think you have the Samuel Sharpe spirit? What do I mean by a Samuel Sharpe spirit? Do you take oppression or do you fight against it? Are you willing to sacrifice your freedom for a sense of security? Sam Sharpe wasn't that type. He was willing to fight a bloody fight in the name of freedom, to fight against all that was unjust against human beings and to himself. He did not sit down quietly and allow superpowers to abuse him, to use him, and to destroy him. Are you that type? If you're not, then you have the Sam Sharpe spirit. It is a rebellious spirit.